Hey, just want to do a weekly update here. We're going to deviate a little bit from the traditional Mortgage Minute and Mortgage Update. I want to draw your attention to an article I've just written, and we're going to send a copy of this out to you. It's basically an article that said, I know you can't read that small print, but the point of the article is to suggest that every single individual Canadian should consider investing like a pension fund. So how do pension funds, endowment funds, and Ivy League endowment funds or institutional funds invest? They invest in three specific asset classes that are not correlated to each other. Those asset classes are real estate, private equity, and of course portfolio management and stocks and bonds. So one of the areas we want to focus on today is the private equity component. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to be specifically promoting one specific product today for you today, and that's because they're closing. They're going to have their final raise and their final close, and I think this is a fantastic investment opportunity, but the window's really tight, so I want to highlight it and draw your attention to it. They are actually going to be having a webinar, so the purpose of this video, this email to you, is to invite you to sign up and register for the webinar with the link that's going to be attached here. The purpose of the webinar is to introduce to you ICM IX. ICM is effectively a real estate income trust. Now, I'm just going to put on my glasses here and read a few highlights. It's a real estate trust that's raising over, they've got over $50 million that they've raised to date, and their final raise is going to be shut off and closed as of April 21st. So the window here is really tight, but I want to highlight a few things why you might be interested in this. Again, ICM was founded in 2003, currently has over $500 million in assets under management. They target an internal rate of return of about 15%. I like to suggest you should target an investment like this to look at 10 to 15%. Key points here is historically they've never had any losses on past projects, and they've got an extremely experienced management team. That's one of the things that I like about them. The strategy or objective of the trust is it's like a joint venture where you're going to buy, fix, and flip. But these guys do it with commercial assets, predominantly in the United States. The goals are simple. They strive to preserve wealth and generate attractive risk-adjusted returns. It's a buy, fix, and sell. Now, how do they fix commercial assets? They increase operating income generated by the properties through repositioning or enhancing tenant relationships using their active asset management philosophy. Anyways, bottom line is, I think this is a really solid company. They have a fantastic track record. They have a very good asset class. Now, typically when you invest in this type of fund, in the early stages, there's risk. There's a 5 to 6 year hold. You can use RSP money, you can use TFSA money, and you can invest in it for as little as $10,000. Now, if you were to go out there and try to buy commercial assets on the U.S. East Coast, you need $100 million to get started. But a fund like this, a real estate trust, allows you to use registered assets and as little as $10,000 to access an asset class that's not correlated to the stock market. That's why I like it. If you were an early stage investor, you took a little bit more risk because it's a 5 to 6 year time horizon. They didn't have any assets in the mix when they started, so it was a bit of a blind pool. But today, because they're closing the fund in literally 2.5 weeks, they currently have raised $53 million in assets. They've purchased, I just got some notes here, they've purchased 18 assets spread out over 9 different marketplaces. So it's a very diversified trust fund, and it's now mature. So the risk is, a lot of the risk has been taken away from it. So it's a great opportunity for late stage investors, and instead of waiting 6 years, now you only have to wait 4 years. Anyways, if you're interested, I think this is a great opportunity. The webinar is going to be Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. 5:30 Pacific Daylight Time. We're going to give you the details to the webinar, and that's tomorrow night, Thursday night. If you're getting this on Thursday morning, then it's tonight. Okay, so it's kind of a last chance for investing in ICM IX. If that's something that interests you, then plug into the webinar tomorrow night. Thanks, we'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.